A fair competition is essential to all sports. Given the wide range of disabilities present in para-athletes, classification systems have been introduced to enable athletes with different impairments to compete with each other. Swimmers are grouped into 10 physical impairment sport classes, 3 visual impairments classes, and 1 intellectual impairment class. The lower number, the higher the activity limitations. The sport classes cover a wide range of disabilities and limitations. The goal of sports handicap systems, such as the World Handicap System for golf or the World Para Swimming Point System, is to enable athletes to compete fairly. A swimmer with no arms should be able to compete against a swimmer with 1 or 2 arms. While the game balancing system should compensate for such a specific factor, it should not confound other factors, such as the skill or the fitness of the athlete. If 2 athletes with the same disability compete, the more skilled and fitter should win. The International Paralympic Committee developed the World Para Swimming Point System. They provide a Microsoft Excel-based calculator for swim officials to convert times to points. The current point system, however, does not take age into consideration. 80-year-old para swimmers are expected to compete with 20-year-old swimmers. The results of such competitions are predictable. The point system is primarily used for the open competition on the international and Olympic level. It is applied on high-performance swimmers. It is therefore not directly suitable for para-master swimmers. Overall, the number of para swimmers increases over time due to accidents. A point system that takes age into account is desperately needed. Able-bodied master swimmers compete within age blocks of 5 years, such as from 30 to 34 years. A similar method could be applied to master para swimmers. They could use the para point system to compete across their disability levels within their age and sex group. Fortunately, the number of para athletes is low compared to able-bodied athletes. Unfortunately, it is predictable that even events that are held at the national level would not offer much competition. The swimmers would be sparsely scattered across the age and sex groups. It is likely that all athletes would almost automatically win medals. The situation would become even worse if swimmers were further confined to compete within their class. This would likely guarantee a gold medal for everyone. The current system has several weaknesses. According to the IPC's explanatory report, the lower 1/3 of the dataset has been excluded from the estimation of the parameters A, B, and C. The technical report only explains that this exclusion improved the model fit. Still, excluding such a high proportion of data points is unusual for dealing with outliers. It also biases the system towards high-performing athletes. Second, the current system relies on several ad hoc adjustments in the stepwise parameter estimation process that have to be implemented manually. The explanatory report does not document all the adjustments. Since there is no openly available documentation of these adjustments, the system does become opaque. It is not possible to replicate the results and hence verify the system. We also have to point out that the goal of giving 1,000 points to the current world record for each combination of event and class does not work as intended. We entered all the current world records into the current para point calculator and received more than 1,000 points for 67% of long course events and 41% for the short course events. Despite all the manual adjustments they made, the current para model still cannot guarantee the symbolic meaning of 1,000 points. The point system is also unable to resolve ties, which are bound to happen. The current world para point system therefore does not meet all the desired mathematical and fairness characteristics. We developed the Fair World Para Masters point system to enable para swimmers to compete fairly. It does also take age into account, allowing for para master swimmers to compete. To test our system, we applied it to 3 datasets: In order to demonstrate how the method works in ideal conditions, we created an artificial dataset with 100 competitors in each age group from 15 to 35 years old in each of the 14 disability classes. The point system worked to our full satisfaction. Next, we applied the point system to real-world data. The International Paralympic Committee provided us with a dataset from their swimming events results database. Based on this data, we estimated all the necessary parameters and created an Excel spreadsheet. It can be used for the officials to calculate the points. I will demonstrate the usage later in this video. We then tested the point system with data from the New Zealand Masters database. The results showed that the point system works to specifications and was able to produce meaningful and fair point scores. We developed a fair world para point system for swimming, which simultaneously adjusts for disability and age. The implementation of the quadratic programming algorithm requires specialist software, but is otherwise straightforward. It avoids problems of convergence or sensitivity to initial values and thus does not require expert supervision. It also allows for the simultaneous estimation of all the parameters involved while considering all the required constraints, such as ordering by disability. This avoids awkward stepwise procedures with non-transparent post-hoc adjustments and tweaks that are currently used to ensure the constraints work. This new system also solves the problem of resolving point ties. No two swimmers will be forced to share a ranking. This is particularly useful for dealing with results at the tail end of the distribution. The Fair World Para Point system is more transparent and offers a better parameter estimation. It no longer relies on manual adjustments and ad hoc modification. This enables governing bodies to update their systems more easily and more frequently without the need for an expert statistician. This holds true not only for the open competitions at international events at the highest performance level, but also for other events. Including parameters for age will, for the first time, enable disabled master swimmers to compete. No longer will the performance of a 60-year-old swimmer be measured on the same scale as a 20-year-old swimmer. For both abled and disabled swimmers, age groups are currently only being considered for young athletes such as 13, 14, 15, 16 or 17 years. For older swimmers, the Masters competition offers athletes aged 20 and older an opportunity to compete. This is currently reserved for able bodies. There are currently no Para-Masters competition, partly because there is no method for athletes to compete fairly against each other. The Fair World Para Point system fills this gap and will enable Masters para swimming competitions to take place. We hope that this new system will help overcome this inequality. The free and easy-to-use point calculators we published will enable para-master swimming events. After opening the spreadsheet, we can enter the name, age and classification of the swimmer. Let's try John Doe, age 55 and S10. We only have to add the number of the classification, not the prefix. We then enter the time in the field for the respective event. The 100-meter freestyle, we enter 1 minute and 10 seconds. The calculator then provides the achieved points.